and welcome back to my channel. Today I would like you to join me while I make a vintage reproduction 1940s pattern according to a simplicity pattern. I've got this really cute fabric that's been in my stash for too many years. I think I bought it before I was married, and I'm coming up on my 9th wedding anniversary. So yeah, there is that. So really cute fabric, some vintage trim, rickrack trim, and let me get my specs on here so that I can see what I'm doing. And once we get this pressed up, we'll cut it out and put together that pattern. I have to press out all those wrinkles that it got from being in storage so long. It's always important to press. This isn't a step that you should skip if you want your projects to look professional. We're striving for something that looks handmade, not homemade. And here is a close-up shot of the fabric. Those owls match the dark brown rickrack perfectly. I actually filmed the entire process of laying out this pattern. Yeah, I could have done it so much faster had I not filmed the entire process. But you get the picture. I cut out the pattern. YouTubers make it look so easy, but really when you have to set up your camera for every new shot, it really is quite tedious. Little tip, just mark your things with a little snip right where those markings are, and you don't even know what I'm talking about. Moving on. And while this might look like a tour of my apartment, it really isn't. I came back to filming to find my dog on my light source. Curled up to it, in fact. You comfortable? I know you look funny. Back to sewing. So I thought I should at least look at the directions for the construction of this apron, and the first thing I noticed was a lot of welt seams. So to avoid ink marks from staining my fabric, I often use thread to make my markings, transfer my markings. So that's what you see here. What's funny is that later in the construction of this apron, I apparently forgot all about how I didn't want to accidentally stain this. And then I proceeded to use my marking pen. And I forgot which side was the disappearing ink and which side is supposed to wash out in the wash. And I ended up staining the apron in parts and had a devil of a time getting the stains out, because those marking pens don't actually wash out. So here I am pressing out a seam. I usually do this while I'm sewing. Very important to press. Here's where I impress upon you the importance of pressing. Gee whiz, tough crowd. Give me a break. This is my first attempt at a comedy sewing tutorial. So here I am pressing, and then top pressing before I do the top stitching for the welt seams. And then I got to put the rickrack on, and then here's me doing that little back piece, which I'm not sure what to call it, a yoke. I'm not sure. Yeah, but more welt seams. I mean, not welt seams, turned up seams on that thing. And then here's me attaching something to it, something I don't, what, oh yeah, now I know what. Here I am trying to rethread my sewing machine, but I'm blind, so it takes a few tries, unless I'm wearing my granny glasses. I'm about to do the only zigzag seam finish in this project. All the rest are welt seams. But I'm blind. I really should speed this up. Let's speed this up. It really was a challenge getting this done with all of my other obligations, especially when, you know, your husband wants you to like cook and stuff for him. Yeah, here I am baking him some cookies. And yeah, as you can see, wait, why did I put this footage in here? Oh yeah, so that you can see how much my current apron does not protect my clothes. And it's kind of ill-fitting, and it just kind of flops around, and yeah, etc. So anyway, that's why I put this in here. And cookies. I'm making cookies, you know. Who doesn't love cookies? I mean, you can't have any of these cookies because I don't know where you are in the world watching this, but yeah, I mean, well, you could have virtual cookies, although those aren't as satisfying. Besides, I don't think you'd want these cookies because I made these cookies weeks ago and they've already been eaten. Sorry. I could always post this recipe, but this is a sewing channel primarily. I mean, yeah, I have promised to do some baking tutorials in the future, but that is, well, as Aragorn said, that day is not this day. Despite my actually including this footage. And here's me actually trying to show you that I'm baking something like a real baking tutorial, but this is a sewing tutorial, and yeah. And then I did some time lapse of the finished cookies, finished virtual cookies, and then I thought I'd do something creative, and I had to speed this up to like 5,000% just so that you could slightly see the shadows move in this time lapse, which is really pointless, actually. Odds are you won't get this far in the video anyway. And here I am trying to remember what this video was about. But I have all these clips of me making an apron on my computer, so why don't we look at some of those? So I'm speeding this up, but there were a lot of turned up hems. I mean, like a whole lot. I mean, like just about every edge was finished. No, actually every edge was finished with a turned up hem. This usually isn't my go-to, but this pattern called for it a lot. And eventually I'll have a tutorial. Wait, I do have a tutorial that I can link to you in the cards up above. Yeah, up here, right there, to your right. Yeah. But first, finish watching this video because, you know, it's important. Yes, actually, it is important to see me turning up all of these turned up hems. Yeah, just said that. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't already understand the importance of pressing, here I am impressing it upon you again. And that middle thing that I still couldn't put a label to, I wasn't exactly sure what it was. Maybe I should look at the pattern piece. I'm not sure. But anyway, pressed, nice and pressed. And very pressed. Once it's not just pressed, but most impressive, continue your project. Then my husband thought he'd steal a cookie. Just FYI, only a Star Wars nerd would have gotten the pun of my last bad joke. Back to the apron. Yes, more pressing, and then, oh, look, more rickrack. Yes, we put rickrack on it. Yes, lots of rickrack. And look, I'm pressing it. See, I'm a good girl. I'm pressing my seams. Okay. And then my husband thought he'd steal another cookie that I made exclusively for him. I don't know why he's stealing it. Maybe I thought some cookie larceny might boost my views. I don't know. Not worry about getting demonetized, as I'm not monetized yet. Anyway, more rickrack. I applied more rickrack, and I'm pressing it all down nice and neat. Okay, I am very impressed. Then it was time for me to take my own cookie break. I love cookies and milk, and I had to reflect on my hard day of productivity. Yes, productivity. And man, that's a good cookie. I think I should make some more cookies. They're my mom's recipe. Anyway, it was at least a week or better before I could do anything more on my apron. A lot of stuff got in the way, came up, then there were chores, and then there was my bad health, and then I didn't really look forward to all the narrow hems that I had to do, and here I am doing more narrow hems. Sorry about the bad lighting in this segment of the film. I just thought I should do some more filming of me actually making progress on my apron. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I noticed a thread I didn't snip. But yeah, for the real progress, putting on the rickrack. A lot of rickrack. Miles and miles and miles of rickrack. As I neared completion, I was getting eager and excited to just get this done because I was kind of tired of looking at it. I wanted to wear it. That's the fun part. All I have left to do is put the lower facing on, the rest of the rickrack, and a pocket or two. I may put two on depending on how much rickrack I have left, because this brown rickrack that I've been using is vintage, and I don't know that I will be able to get a hold of any more because this was the last that the Etsy seller had that I bought. I may be able to find more on Etsy, I'm not sure. So that's what I have so far. I finished the back straps, the ties, has this little cross thing. I don't know what you call that cross thing. And I did a test fit again. I did one early on, but this is an apron. But it fits good. It fits nice. That's my geriatric puppy. Well, that's kind of a contradiction in terms, but yeah, he's my old doggy. He's made it quite a challenge filming these last couple of days because he wants to sit on my lap constantly. I think he's in a lot of pain. I have him on medications. Is it wrong to drug your dog up to the max safe dosage for his weight just so you can get some things done? I'm still deliberating that over in my head. Or in my head, or you know where. I always forget to cut out the fusible interfacing while I'm cutting out the rest of the pattern, so at least these were small pieces that I was able to cut out on my ironing board. But anyway, here's me slip stitching the bottom faced hem closed so that I can apply rickrack to it on the outside. And this pattern actually called for this slip stitch finish at the bottom, so I'll put my tutorial for slip stitching up in the cards once I actually have a tutorial for the slip stitch hem, because I just remembered I don't have that tutorial, so I can't link it in the cards until I do. Anyway, moving on to more top stitching, more rickrack onto my project here. This actually took 10 yards total to finish this apron of this vintage rickrack, which I'm glad it only took 10 because I could not source any more. But yeah, all the pattern said was that it would take 5 packages of jumbo rickrack, and I couldn't remember how much yardage of rickrack was in a package. So when I ordered it online, I thought, oh, well, 5 yards should do the project. It didn't, and I'm glad they had just enough for me to buy and wait a while for it to get here. And because that also held up my project, not just my geriatric dog. So you get the picture. I applied a bunch of rickrack to just about every seam. I'm not into pockets as much as Bernadette Banner is, but that's what we're going to do next. That's what I'm doing here. I plan to have a bunch of tutorials linked to this Make With Me video that will show you all the steps you need to know to actually make this apron. Not that you actually ever will make this apron, because you're overwhelmed with the amount of enthusiasm that I've generated for making this apron. I don't know, most people just wear clothes they don't care about to do housework and chores, if they do housework and chores. So the only time I wear clothes I don't care about is when I'm dyeing my hair, which I do semi-regularly, which I just realized was really left field to mention, but there you go. Something you didn't know about me, but probably heavily suspected. And if I sound out of breath, it's because I have a Chihuahua on my lap in his bed, but I can't just have one Chihuahua. I have to have both Chihuahuas because, you know, one will feel left out. So yeah, anyway, moving on, finishing the pockets. Yeah. So along the curved edges of these patch pockets, don't mind the growling dogs on my lap. Anyway, along the curved edges, I did a long machine stitch on my sewing machine so that I could pull up the gathers, pulling on the bobbin threads. And then I pressed them down so that they would look nice and crisp for when I top stitched them to the front of my apron. I'll also have a patch pocket tutorial that I will link to this video. It's another one of those tutorials that I have not filmed yet, but you know, dog willing, I will get that done and link it right in this video right here for you to investigate if you so desire. I aim to make my next tutorial video for the pockets here much more entertaining. And here's my attempt to make this video more interesting by plagiarizing a TikTok editing trick, which actually turned out better than I thought it would. And these are your stereotypical patch pockets that are just top stitched in place. And I did have just enough rickrack to do both of them, so score. The pattern only called for one, but I kind of like symmetry, even though that's highly ironic because considering I only have one of my frontal lobes, which you would think I would naturally like things asymmetrical. Ours is not to reason why, ours is to shake our head and wonder why. Anyway, you get the picture. I pin them in place. Yada yada. Anyway, after top stitching the pockets in place onto my apron, it was now time for the last step, which was scotch guarding my apron, it was great that I had the window open, but I really shouldn't have done this in my kitchen floor. I wear house shoes, but my husband doesn't, and he was slip sliding all over the kitchen floor until we mopped it again. So after this, I really should have rethought this and done this outside. Doing a reveal for a kitchen apron seems sort of strange to me, but here it is, since everybody likes a good reveal. What? You thought I was gonna do a photo shoot just for an apron? I only do full-on retro housewife with the hair and the makeup and the dress and the pearls. I only do that for special occasions. And here I am protecting one of my cool t-shirts with said apron, and it really does cover it well, much better than my old one did. And that shoulder strap's gonna bug me, and I don't notice it until after this clip. It really bugged me. And as you can see, I fixed that strap that was it was really messing with me. Anyway, this is what you really came to see me do. That apron enabled me to make cookies safely without getting grease stains on me. And of course, it also enabled me to make my cookies more colorful. I guess. I just put this in here to get views, actually. Because everybody likes watching people make cookies they cannot personally eat. I mean, those are some of my favorite videos is seeing people make things that I can't actually eat. Yeah, I don't understand it myself, but there it is. So here are some colorful, fresh baked virtual cookies for you to feast your eyes on. That was my last one, I promise. As always, thanks for watching till the end, and have a great day or night. Bye now! If you ask me, I think comedy is highly overrated.